Makeup.
Good afternoon, everybody. It is so wonderful to be back here at the magnificent Talmud Lunch and Learn. I want to thank Ed once again for being our chef and taking care of such delicious food for everyone. Before we begin our regular Talmud programming, I would like to just share a short thought on this week's Parsha. We have the repetition of the mitzvah of having a mezuzah in our home, and you should have a mezuzah on the gateways through your door, on your doorpost. And it's interesting that our sages tell us, particularly Rabbi Nachman of Breslov says that the word mezuzah comes from the word, if you can rearrange it, it also becomes the word zaz mavet, meaning you push away, you remove death, you remove tragedy. And he says like this, he says the mezuzah is like the face of a person. The face represents the life of a person who's exuberant, a person who's excited, who's happy. So the face shines. When a person is doing not well, a person is ill, a person is potentially about to depart from this world, right? You could see it in their face. Their face represents everything. So Rav Nachman says an amazing thing. He says when you have a mezuzah on your door, it gives life to the home. It represents the face of the home, and the home gets life from the mezuzah. Now I want to bring something to your attention. I've been to numerous homes. I've shared this story in the past. I'll share it once more. I don't think I've ever shared it online. So I was by someone's house once, paying a shiva call, and it was a very crowded room, and I was standing by one of the doorways, and I was just leaning on the doorpost, and there was a mezuzah there, and I didn't realize, but the nail from the mezuzah got caught on my jacket, and as soon as I moved away, the mezuzah went crashing on the floor. It was a glass mezuzah, and it shattered all over the place. It was not pretty. Either way, I felt terrible. I ran into the kitchen. I said, "Can I get a broom and just to shovel it up?" They said, "No, don't worry about it. We'll take care of it. It's not a big deal." It was towards the end of the shiva, I'm sitting there and talking to the wife. It was the husband who was sitting shiva. I was talking to the wife, and the husband comes in. He says, "You know something? Thank you very much for breaking the mezuzah." He says, "I just picked up what was supposed to be parchment in the mezuzah, and it was a photocopied piece of paper." Oh. No. Now, I've been brought by many, many dozens of people mezuzahs over the years to have them checked. And Baruch Hashem, thanks to Hashem, we have a magnificent sofer, a scribe in our community. And anyone who has tefillin or has mezuzahs or has a Torah scroll or a Megillah or anything that they want to get it checked, bring it. You can bring it to the Torch Center, and we'll have the scribe check it for you. And if it needs repair, he'll repair it for you as well. But I've had over the years many people bring me mezuzahs that either did not have scrolls in them or had paper scrolls in them. There were a few who had actual scrolls that needed to be, and some of them were not kosher also. So a couple of things. First is, a mezuzah does not mean to have a nice case. That's not a mezuzah. You can have the most beautiful gold-studded, diamond-studded mezuzah case, but if it doesn't have a scroll in it, it really is worthless, right? It might be a beautiful piece of furniture, right, that you post on your wall, but that is not a mezuzah. Mezuzah is an actual scroll that has the proper portions that are supposed to be in a mezuzah. Number one. Number two is that it has to be on parchment, not on paper. If it's on paper and it's photocopied, it is not valid. Now, who writes these? It has to be a God-fearing Jew. There was a few years ago, they found that in Gaza there were women, just copying mezuzah writings, right? And they would sell it to the market, like for gift shops. So most likely, if you have bought tefillin or mezuzah in gift shops in Israel, it's not kosher. Wow. Particularly tefillin. I got a pair of tefillin someone brought me. It had paper inside it. It was not valid. It's worthless. So you have to be very, very careful about that. Buy it from a bona fide, recognized, God-fearing scribe. And you have many of them. You have one in Houston. You have many of them in Jerusalem. But make sure you find someone who's God-fearing and get recommendations from people who are also God-fearing so that they know who this person is. That person has a reputation of being an upstanding citizen. Don't just buy it from the cheapest gift shop because it's most likely not going to be kosher. All right? So we have, the case is not the mezuzah. You can have a mezuzah on the door, not on a case. All right? Number two is it has to be on a parchment, not on paper. It has to be written by a scribe, preferably a God-fearing scribe. And the third piece, which is very important to Houston, and that is, in Houston we have, as many of you may have realized, over the past however many years you live here, it's very hot and very humid. And that is not good for a mezuzah. So, they sell pressurized mezuzah cases. And the pressurized mezuzah case is basically, it doesn't let any humidity into the housing of the scroll. So it won't damage or ruin. It may be very hot, but it's not going to damage it from the humidity. It might ruin it from the heat. So if it's possible to have it in a shady area, if it's possible, again, or put a cover for it so it stays in the shade. But if it's possible for someone to make sure, now there are laws about where the mezuzah should be placed, which side of the doorpost, depending what way is the entrance. All right, right. So if you have a porch if you have a porch that you only go from the inside of the house to the outside, that would have a different case than if you have just a pass-through area. It only gets complicated as to if you have a door which you go both ways through that door. Which one is the way that you typically will use to go through? All right. With that, my friends, thank you. What? Yes.
What is the name of this?
The scribe. His name is Rabbi Grunitsky. And
no, the reason I asked, there's another man in town that's a scribe. You know Rabbi Pinkus Alou?
I don't know who he is.
Well, he's retired, but he's a scribe.
Very good. Very good.
I mean, he's from Israel. When he became a rabbi, his father said, "You need to be a scribe. You need to be a moil. You need to be everything because you never know where you're going to be in the world."
That's right. That's very, very important.
So he's a scribe.
Thank you, Doc.
I
appreciate it.
Super. And
this public service announcement has been brought to you by
Gary Korn.
Gary Korn.
He also plays the guitar and sings.
Excellent. Oh, there you go. All right, everybody, have a wonderful Shabbos. We're going to continue with our regular Talmud program.
You can't go to Mezuzah's or us to get some.
You can't go to Mezuzah's or us. That's